Hey Trojans, it's Mr. Gardner with a short slide presentation about graduation. So I'm going to try to keep this to about 12 minutes. I hope you'll bear with me. If you're a senior, you probably know most of this stuff. But I would just say go ahead and watch it anyway as a review. Many of you or most of you have gone through your credit checks with your counselors. If you're an underclassman, you'll definitely want to pay attention and hang on to this video because you may want to go back and revisit it. So let's go ahead and get started. Name of the presentation is Operation Graduation. So I want to give you some common graduation vocabulary because you'll hear people around the school talk about graduates, graduate. It's basically what a person becomes when they graduate from kindergarten, 5th grade going into 6th, or 8th grade going into 12th, as many of our freshmen had an opportunity to do. Well, everybody for that matter. And then for our seniors, and then there you might end up being a tech school or a military or a 4-year college or a community college graduate. So just kind of think of that word for what it is. Graduation at the high school, this is a day in June. You'll hear Mr. Gardner, you'll hear me downplay that day quite a bit. And I don't mean to downplay it because it's an amazing day. But I just want to let you know, it is just a day on the calendar. It's really what happens before then and really what takes place after that is what's most important. Commencement, you'll hear that word a lot your senior year. And commencement is just a word that just means a beginning or a new start. This is the actual graduation ceremony in June that those who have met all high school requirements to earn their diploma, thereby becoming a high school graduate. Sometimes you'll hear that, are you going to be able to walk or are you going to walk? That's kind of used synonymously with commencement too, because symbolically we do this graduation walk, and so you'll hear that thrown in there too. So just want to give you some common terms as you're working your way through high school. At Auburn High School, we want 100% graduation, and we're going to strive towards that until we attain it. We're pretty darn close. We're getting there. We're getting better every year. Not too long ago, we were below 70%, and now we're knocking on the door of being in the 90s. And if you count the students who are back in school this year as I think some people might call them 5th-year seniors. I just call them seniors. They're going to take out their graduation. The class of 2020 is above 90. So we just want to keep working towards that. It's very important that every student earns a diploma while they're in high school. Going to throw a little curveball at you here. This is a high school graduate, and I brought her up as an example, and I have 3 other examples too. This is Bethany Balser. She plays for the Reign, which is the local professional soccer team in the Northwest. I think they played out of Seattle at Memorial Stadium, but they've since moved down to Tacoma. That makes it close for me to go watch games. But I brought her up because I'll tell you why in a minute. Another athlete that comes from played in the Seattle area. He's actually from Cincinnati, Ohio, graduated from Moeller High School. Ken Griffey Jr. He is our Hall of Famer for the Seattle Mariners. A lot of us take a lot of pride in that. And I got to see Ken Griffey Jr. kind of play during his heyday. And I was actually a college student in Bellingham at Western Washington University. And I actually got to see Ken Griffey Jr. play for the local minor league team there. It was a rookie league team, the Bellingham Bells. That was kind of neat. Marshawn Lynch, another local favorite from a different state, graduated from Oakland Technical High School. Actually been able to meet Marshawn while he was a college student at the University of California. And then later on, I met his high school counselor at an education conference. And she says the town of Oakland and Oakland Technical High School is in love with Marshawn Lynch. Great young man while he was in high school and continues to just do wonderful things for their community. High school graduate. Jewel Lloyd. A lot of times when we think of the Seattle Storm, we think of Sue Bird, and we should. She's an amazing talent. But we also know that they have other amazing talented players, and one happens to be Jewel Lloyd, a high school graduate from Niles West High School. She is the Storm shooting guard, and she is part of the world champion Seattle Storm women's basketball team. So what do all 4 have in common? Okay, they're high school graduates. They've excelled in their field. They're athletes. If you haven't figured it out, this is the other thing. They all wear the number 24. So why is that such a big deal, Mr. Gardner? Well, I'm glad you asked. You need 24 credits to graduate from Auburn High School. Why don't you think about that for a moment? We have seniors here. You already have, you're in the upper teens, maybe even the lower 20s because you're doing such a great job. We have a lot of different ways to earn credits beyond the traditional 6-period day, and now it's cut down to 3 because of COVID. But we have other opportunities. One of them happens to be Troy Time. We have online classes that kids can take. I'm not going to talk so much about that in this presentation, but I just want to let you know you do need the 24 credits. And you have an opportunity to earn 26, even if you don't access some of the other things. Sometimes I know graduation or the march to graduation can kind of feel this way. You're scratching and clawing, you're trying to keep your head above the water. In this case, this little duckling trying to keep his head above the curb. I'm sure he's trying to keep his eyesight on his mom. But sometimes it can feel this way. And the best thing to do is try to search out the help you have. Start with your teachers, your counselors, any of the administrators. Just let us know what you need. And we're going to bend over backwards to help you guys. You can spend a lot of time doing nothing. I mean, you can sit there and think about this and worry about it. And I'm pretty sure this young lady's probably gathering her thoughts to go out and go do something amazing this day. But I thought that was just a great expression, a great picture. And there's nothing wrong with sitting around and thinking about it once in a while, but you got to definitely move your brain to a place where you commit to yourself, you look yourself in the mirror, and then you really think about how you want to invest in yourself and your future. That's really what we want you guys to be most of the time, but sometimes it's hard, okay? But you have a lot of people helping you out. We want you to arrive on time. We want you to graduate in 4 years. And something I talk to the seniors quite a bit about, especially the second half of the year, for those that might come up short, we try to figure out ways to help them earn a credit. And if it looks like we've got to go extended time, maybe into the summer, maybe into another semester, maybe into a full year. We want to do what's right by the seniors and make sure they do get their diploma. There's a lot of economic reasons, money reasons why that diploma is going to serve you through your life, even if it's the only high school or the only type of diploma you earn. The wages you'll command during a lifetime with a high school diploma versus being a high school dropout, it's night and day, the differences. I know 24 credits, right? Especially if you're a freshman, you're sitting there going, how do I even start this? Well, you've started. You're already 1 quarter into it. You've already had an opportunity to earn 1.5 credits. But when you look at the whole thing, it can look pretty daunting. If you look at the sky and you try to take in all the stars like this particular person's doing, it can be very daunting to think of everything that might be happening out there. What I'm going to ask you to do is really just focus in. Focus in on specific things like next quarter, the quarter you're in right now. Focus in on period 4. Focus in on period 5 and then period 6 and then also your Troy time. Even break it down even shorter. Break it down to each assignment. Break it down to each week. Set goals for yourself. But really focus in on specific things and not try to figure out the whole 24 credit thing right away. You're not going to graduate in one day. It is a 4-year process. So break it down to little chunks. And you just never know. If you get focused on something long enough, you just never know what you're going to be able to achieve. We have a saying around Auburn High. Don't really get to use it too much, I don't think, lately, because usually it's on classroom teachers' walls and maybe on their assignments, but we want to focus on today. And that's a quote we use from Bob Jones. Most of you who are freshmen may not even know this yet, but we got a street named for Bob Jones. It's a street that divides the high school away from our high school stadium, and then also our gym complex is known as the Bob Jones Gym. Bob served at Auburn High School for about 30 years. He's a local legend, and if you want to know a little bit more about him, definitely ask your teachers if they've been around a little bit. When you see me in the hallways, ask me about Bob Jones. We'd love to tell you about him. All he wanted you guys to do is to serve your school and serve yourself. So the 24 credit thing again. Yeah, I know that's kind of staring you in the face, especially if you're a freshman. It's like trying to eat an elephant, which can sound very overwhelming. Well, the way you do it is you eat it one bite at a time. Here's what your freshman year could look like. If you're a sophomore, we'll play that out a little bit, juniors and seniors. But basically, let me see if I can use my little arrow here. We're using a quarter system right now. You just finished up quarter one, and we're jumping into quarter two. You should have already been in there one day. And in a normal year, we'd be looking, this whole thing is September. I'm sorry, semester one. That's what we'd be looking at it as. So we would have just finished the first quarter of 6 classes, but our reality is we finished 3. So you already would have earned 1.5 credit if you passed all the classes. In a regular year, if these are semesters, you'd be getting a quarter one progress report, not your final grade. But things have changed. Now, you're in quarter two, and at the end of quarter two, which will be at the very end of semester one, I just want you guys to know they're kind of synonymous. You will be able to earn, whoops, didn't mean to do that. You will be able to earn 1.75 credits, which will bring your semester total to a 3.25. Now, where did that 0.25 credit come in? Notice first quarter was 1.5, second quarter was 1.75. You earn a 0.25 credits each semester by taking care of business in Troy time. And then we'll kind of repeat that second quarter or our third quarter or second semester. Again, we don't know what this is going to look like yet. A lot of that's going to be dependent on COVID. So every year you can earn 6 credits. With Troy time, you can earn 6.5 credits. And as you can see, if you play that out, you will have more than enough credits to graduate. Now, those credits have to belong in certain buckets, such as math, such as social studies, such as language arts, such as science, PE, other electives, and other graduation requirements. And that's where your work with your counselor is going to be so important. So wait, where did that extra 0.5 credit come from each year? It's Troy time. You can earn a 0.25 credit by semester or half a credit for the year. This is earned by showing up, by participating in career cruising, and finishing up your career cruising milestone activities. Troy time also provides our students an extra 2 hours per week in the middle of the school day to work on academics while receiving help from their teachers in classes where they may not be meeting standard yet. We all need help sometimes. We all need that extra layer of support. And if you're one of the students who are just, breezing through this is a piece of cake for you, you're pushing yourself, and maybe you're someone that doesn't need so much help, good for you. And if you have an opportunity to help some classmates out or ask your teachers if you can extend or enrich your learning, definitely do that too. You want to get the most out of high school while you're here. So kind of going back, how do you need an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. Just really wanted to impress upon you, especially if you're kind of newer at this. These credits are real. You have to have these to move on to each grade level. You have to have these to graduate. It's like putting money in a bank. You're trying to save up for a car, and the car is going to cost you $5,000. You get to the end of that, and if you're ready to buy that car and the dealer's ready to sell it, and you only have $3,000, you're not buying the car. You're going to have to buy something a little less, or you're going to have to continue saving your money. So graduation's a little bit like that too. You got to start banking credits, and more than anything, really focus on the learning, focus on the assignments, focus on each day. That's our common goal at Auburn High School. And we're more than just graduation. We also want to prepare you for your life after high school, and you'll get more information on that as we go along. Hopefully this was informative for you. If anything, it was a review, and I wish you good luck. I wish you well as you start quarter two, and I know you're going to do a great job. Thank you for watching or listening.